Welcome to the WenPipe64 Demo. WenPipe64 is a 64-bit program for pipe estimating. The program includes fully customizable tables. Here's a sample pipe table. This is black steel, threaded. Let's look at plain end. You can see all the sizes are listed here. If you click open, you can edit the prices and labor, and you can just type right over the numbers. Let's look at a typical fitting table. You can see all the pieces here are listed, and you can view all the pieces in the table from the main window. But if you want to open in the table, you can change the numbers just by highlighting the piece and typing right over the numbers. WenPipe also has pricing services that will automatically price your items for you. We have Harrison, Columbia, Allprizer, Ferguson, and Trade Services, among others. And you can sign up with them for automatic pricing, and it'll load into the WenPipe64 system. You can align items just by clicking on Align Items and highlighting the pricing service item that you want to align and clicking on the WenPipe item below that you want to align it to. The material setups drive the takeoff and tell the takeoff what materials to use. They're broken out by system type. We have HVAC, plumbing, and process system types that all have their own material setups and system types. Like for our hot water heating, let's look at our hot water system types. We have black, we have copper and butt weld. We have different mixtures of materials, and you can always create additional ones. Let's look at our black threaded and butt weld material setup as a sample. You can have any number of size ranges, and here we have two size ranges. Up to 2 inch, we have black threaded pipe and black marble iron fittings and couplings. And for over 2 inch, we have black plain end pipe with carbon steel butt weld fittings. You can also set up hangers and valves and insulation. So let's go to a job now and try taking off a new job. We'll call it Sample 008. And let's call our starting system HW, hot water. We'll select the hot water system type. We'll just take our black threaded and butt weld. It'll bring up the material setup and allow you to change things if you want to. And then we'll select our standard spec. And now let's just go right into our takeoff. It'll ask you for a floor drawing and area, so you can sort by floor drawing and area in your reports. It'll ask for a starting diameter. We'll start with 1 inch. And now you're in your takeoff. All the takeoff windows can be moved and dragged to wherever you want them on a dual monitor system or a single monitor system, and they can be resized to fit your window the way you want it to. However you set your windows, they'll remain that way the next time you open the takeoff. You can do takeoffs either using screen takeoff or manual. I'll start off with the manual takeoff, and then we'll show some screen takeoff. To take off 100 feet of pipe, I'm just putting in 100, and I'm clicking on the pipe square on the template. There's my 100 feet of pipe. Try taking off a couple of elbows. Put 2, and then I selected elbows. Let's try a T. And the items are added to the takeoff grid. You can copy and paste items by highlighting them, right-clicking, copy, and then you can either paste or paste duplications of the items. Now, since this is a threaded and butt weld system, let's switch to 4 inch size. I clicked on 4 inch over here. You can see that our material switched to carbon steel butt weld. Now if we take off 100 feet of pipe, and a couple elbows. You see, these are now carbon steel butt weld items. We can also switch materials entirely and switch to a different material setup. Let's go to our default material setups, and let's switch to a copper, wrought copper L-hard. And we'll just take our copper L-hard, wrought copper pressure, soldered, and that changed our material setup to wrought copper L-hard. And you can see over here that now we're listed as copper L-hard, and we're still in 4 inch. So let's take off some pipe. Now you see we got wrought copper couplings instead of black. And our coupling is copper by copper. To do a screen takeoff, click on Screen Takeoff. And then you can go to Drawing File and open up a drawing file. It'll ask you for a floor drawing and area. You can pretty much leave it. It'll take the name of the drawing file and use that as the drawing. Now the drawing is open in the background, and if you're using dual monitors, you could have your other windows dragged over to your second monitor, and you can just use this window for your drawing. You can also do a combination of the two and put your template up there. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to leave these two windows on for a single monitor setup. When doing a screen takeoff, the first thing you want to do is scale the drawing. So you click on Scale. It'll say your first two mouse clicks should show a known length. So we'll click OK. We'll click our 2 points of the doorway because we know that's 3 feet. It'll ask us the length. We'll put in 3 feet. And it'll tell us what our scale is according to what we just entered. According to the program, the scale we just measured is 1/8 inch scale. So we can use this as a reference or not. So since that looks like an accurate scale reference, let's say yes. Now the scale reference has switched to 1/8 for our drawing. In Screen Takeoff, when you take off items, you click on the template and it becomes a status. Instead of taking off the item directly, I click on the pipe square and the status is now on for the pipe, which means I can drag between 2 points and take off pipe. When I did that, it took off the item on my takeoff grid and cross-referenced it. If I switch to an elbow, you can see that the elbow comes up on the takeoff grid. If we click the pipe on the takeoff listing, the pipe is highlighted on the drawing. If we click the elbow on the takeoff grid, the elbow is highlighted on the drawing. So there's a cross-reference between the two. Now that we have some items taken off, let's run a quick report. Let's go to Reports and we'll click Run Reports. And you can see the default reports that come up. This is the extensions showing all the items we took off and the totals of each category, and then the grand total on the bottom for prices and labor. And there's a number of different reports. There's extensions by system, floor, drawing, area, and assembly. There's also summaries. Here's a full summary. It kind of shows us all the breakdowns more generally. And you can see the summaries by system, floor, drawing, area, and assembly. And there's supplier lists. Supplier lists show the items without any pricing, so you can send it to your supplier. You can go to File, Email Current Report, and send it to your supplier. If you want to use the extension grid, you can go to Extension Grid, and you can type right over the numbers in your report. Your extensions, and you can basically type over any number in the report. And let's just change your unit material for the 1-inch 90-degree elbow from 12/16 to 14. You can see it extended across here. So let's change the unit labor from 0.59 to 0.7. You can see that extended across as well. Now if we go to our other reports, we'll be able to see that it shows up in these reports as well. Here's our 1-inch 90-degree black malleable elbow. It's now at $14, and there's the 0.7 labor we put in for it. After running your reports, you can run grand totals by clicking on grand totals, and it'll use whatever Excel spreadsheet you want to plug into. As you can see, the numbers came in from our job and went right into this spreadsheet. You can set up the spreadsheet under Settings, Grand Total Spreadsheet, and you can force the program to use any particular spreadsheet that you want to use with your spreadsheet program. Thanks for watching the WenPipe64 demo.